my vision basically is that if people were incentivized to act in good faith in organizations, then we'd have much more productive a workforce. Like the same people that you're sort of measuring with KPIs and sort of laying them off if they're not making it up to the mark just to increase shareholder value. I think you can make a pretty decent case for them, given that they're working under the right incentives. So that's basically my goal. It's good faith, incentivizing good faith behavior and disincentivizing bad faith behavior. Bad faith behavior is all about extracting something from someone under the pretense of something else. Basically, the pretense is that you're doing it for XYZ purposes, but it turns out that you were really doing it for ABC purposes, and you sort of don't disclose it to the other person. And you play these sort of really weird, contorted social dynamics to get them to give you what you need, without sort of deceiving them in some senses. It's quite deceitful, this thing. So that's my vision, and I want to convert it. I want to see it out there in the real world. Even though my training has been that of an engineer and a physicist, I think the one thing that I've learned is complexity sciences and emergence. So complexity science is basically this branch, this field of science that deals with what happens when there are multiple entities abound in the system that you're considering, right? It could be a physical system, it could be a chemical system, it could be a biological system, it could be a social system, which is what I want to deal with. So a social system, any system made up of multiple entities, gives rise to emergent behavior, which is that you couldn't have predicted the behavior from the ground up, from the bottom up. Like just because you know the characteristic properties of individual entities doesn't mean that you could have predicted from that, but by just summing up the relationships between individual parts, you couldn't have come to that conclusion by your own. That's what emergent behavior is, where multiple entities, interacting with each other give rise to behavior you couldn't have predicted otherwise. And social systems are exactly that. You've got multiple individual human beings interacting with each other, giving rise to all sorts of emergent behavior at different levels, at a multitude of levels that you couldn't have accounted for. And my training as a mechanical engineer or as an electrical engineer or as a physicist is basically to be able to discern the kinds of behaviors that are abound, that are inbound, and to be able to characterize them, obviously not quantitatively, because with social systems that would be hard to do. But even if I were to be able to characterize them as qualitative systems, that would still be insightful, I think, and that's what I'm hoping to contribute to the world. Yeah. Let's see you on the next one.